Hello and welcome. I'm Shingo, Ace Attorney level, super fighting game fan, and as you can see now, also a lover of good animation, with this being the first time you see a very different kind of content than the one usually here. But I've had ideas in my head. Ideas that if I don't put out there in the open, well, they're most likely going to make me burst. So for the people that are finding me through the Amazing Digital Circus algorithm, hi! I hope you enjoy the show. And for the rest, I know that I'm very behind on my playthrough of Renoski's adventures, I know. But don't worry, I'll come back to finish the Greatest Attorney very soon. Promise. I mean it. I promise I heard justice that I would before we reach that game in his playthrough so that I can boast Runo. So, in the realm of 5 to 6 years, give or take. I just wanted to take a small detour first, so please be patient with me while we go from the courts of London to the circus of the digital. Now, before anything else, I am very well aware that the ending of the Amazing Digital Circus got leaked a while back, and if you know me, it should come as no surprise that I'm not watching it ahead of schedule, so my thoughts here could be debunked by someone already. I can't control what you post here, and for my own sanity, I won't be reading the comments until June 5th. I couldn't get the tickets for the premiere, but I am so excited. That said, I've always wanted to do something like this, so why not? I had to use my Premiere Press subscription on something, Please be aware that this has spoilers for the Amazing Digital Circus up to the 8th episodes, while the comments will have 1 or 2 grifters with spoilers of the ending. Be careful going down. So, how to start? Well, I think the best way to start is by stating bluntly my main thought and see where we go from there. Caine actually abstracted. Now, yes, I know we all saw him die in the latest episode. I'm not going against it. Gooseworks has confirmed it. Alex Roshan has confirmed it. Your extremely fast fingers have posted it in the comments of this video by this second, I'm sure. That's not what I'm arguing against. I have to thank my Ace Attorney loving brain for not letting me go past this. So allow me to place a question to the court. Who said that both things couldn't be true at once? One of the main theories about what was coming to our eternally smiling friend was that he would abstract over the fact that the other characters don't like him, and that he's generally hated. During episode 8, we see him struggle with that exactly, an issue that we have been seeing him deal with since the start of the show. No matter what happens, Caine is constantly attempting to make the characters happy and love him. However, as we see in the 5th episode, he is not content unless it's by being praised for his creations.
Well, I hope we all learned that suggestion box ideas are actually not fun at all, and Caine's ideas are much better!
This is something that at first it's difficult to understand. He sees them happy, just relaxing and talking, socializing, looking at the stars, only to realize, wait, I didn't do this. Someone else did. Episode 8 seems to point us to the source. We all seem to agree that the red dot in the opening is Caine. As Kinger puts it, he was a fantastic first successful iteration of a creative AI, one that Kinger talks about with pride, with love. However, once the development team starts perceiving ideas that seem to lack a bit of finesse, they substitute him with a new one and lock him into what I assume is a protected folder in a computer. If you have been anywhere on the internet, or maybe just reached my video due to theory crafting being in your algorithm, you most likely already know this. So this is just a recap of other people's analysis. So now we have a reason for feeling depressed. He was abandoned and substituted. Now, let's go into another topic. What is abstraction? For all sets and purposes, the crew in the circus, a lot of the fandom, and the story seem to all use it as a parallel to dying. But in the real world, when you die, you don't become a monster. Ragata explains that abstraction happens when you become crazy, usually when the characters fall into despair, when they are pursuing an unattainable goal. They have a tremendous breakdown, lose their shape, lash out, and become an amorphous creature that gets covered in multiple eyes, hurting everyone around them. Something else that we get to know is that before a character abstracts, they become unbearable to be around. You might remember that this is mentioned by Jax in the 6th episode. But even before that, Kinger says it too. Way before.
You wanna come with us to check on Kaufmo?
No, not really. I think Kaufmo's gone insane. Last time I spoke with him, he was rambling endlessly about some exit.
As further proof, we see across the series the deterioration nature of Jack's mental health and attitude, becoming more and more negative across the episodes. And while he doesn't reach abstraction, and was already quite disliked, he was well on his way to it. If you remember, people left him alone. It is when they come check on him just before he abstracts that he gets saved. So what do we see happen to Caine in the series? As we know, Caine really wants to be loved. Most likely on creation, he got sing praises, as Kinger spoke so fondly of him. However, he eventually got substituted by the Blue AI. With that in mind, whenever I see him trying to appeal to the circus members, I feel like there's some sick desperation to find approval from them. By the time Pomni enters the picture, he is already in the middle of trying to reach an unattainable goal, being loved by the humans that he loves so much. But the characters don't. They feel uncomfortable with him. They try to avoid him, hate his actions, his adventures, everything he hopes will make them admire him. Then he snaps, and now the characters that have been trying to avoid him are so scared of him. It has become worse. And then the crew bluntly confronts with extreme frustration and anger. What happens? He has a tremendous breakdown. He loses his shape, lashes out, and becomes an amorphous creature that gets covered in multiple eyes, hurting everyone around him. Now, does that sound familiar to you? A lot of fans most likely did not think Abstraction when seeing this, and I believe it's because Caine kept his colors and still could talk. But what if this is just because of what the human characters are? Actually, while we're on the subject, just what are the main characters? Going into theory that it's very popular, and it's a widespread belief, the humans are most likely just digital clones of the people that put on the headsets. And if this is true, then our main characters are also just programs. It wouldn't be a surprise that they can actually do the same things that Caine can do, even if it takes more effort from them. This would mean that at the end of the day, they're also AIs. However, they're filled with even more data than Caine, because they have lived as humans, while he's limited to only the data that has been fed to him. I believe that black sludge is made due to the excess of random information that humans have in their brain, including everything that we're usually not conscious about, like everything that makes the body function, as well as decades and decades of different new experiences in their lives. But Caine? He only has his limited data, especially as he refuses to learn from the crew or try to understand them. It's simple and one-dimensional. It's like kids mashing balls of clay. If it's only one red bar, it will remain red. Mash multiple colors together, and you get a black ball with bits and pieces from everything not fully integrated. So Caine has all of the characteristics that an abstracted human has, and once he became this monstrous creature, there really was no way back. Wait, that's not right. Once one abstracts, it becomes irreversible, right? Actually, who said so? Let's go back to the big real question. What is abstraction? Let me propose an idea, and this might be a bit controversial, but I believe that it's a mental breakdown, and nothing else. When people suffer mentally as much as these characters have, most likely their minds would clog and lose sense of themselves. But for mental inputs in a computer, their minds are literally their whole beings. They lose themselves, and that could manifest as having an abstracted body. The violent tendency they have could just be because they're on edge, scared, stressed, and lashing out, because that is what you would do if you suddenly could not control your body in this way or look this different. Up until now, whenever one of the cast had abstracted, Caine had forcibly taken the character and put them in the cellar. But when this is looked from a computer's point of view, what are we watching? I'm guessing that he just grabbed a document and put it in another folder. This means that we, nor the cast, has ever seen what happens after abstraction. With Caine sending people away, the cast starts making funerals and then remembers them as people who have passed away. They grieve them. But they never died. According to Alex Roshan, voice of Caine, his final line
Wait,
was not about him dying. It was more set in regret due to thinking, wait, what am I doing? In other words, Caine came back to normal. When? When he came up to his senses. Up until then, it could be that nobody had seen an abstraction reach its ultimate ending, the finish line. They don't even know how to reverse it. But maybe someone was almost successful in curing it. In The Mystery of Mildenhall Manor, Kinger tells Pomni about his final moments with Queenie, something that happened after she had already abstracted. He explains that in the complete darkness, she had finally calmed down. She was lovingly getting touched in the cheek. She was still disturbed, but she had lost her rabbit edges and was not attacking. She seemed pleased at being with her husband. If abstraction is just an allegory for a panic attack, then Kinger was just lovingly consoling his wife. It could be that she was just frustrated and grieving her old life. Given a bit of extra time, she may have recovered, but as we now know, our ringmaster is clearly not equipped with the skills of a therapist, and instead just violently pulled her out of her hiding place, held her in the air against her will, and then pushed her into the cellar. So what does this mean? The characters in the cellar were essentially just quarantined, nothing more than stuffed into the basement and forced to remain in darkness. Even in the real world, anybody would find this extremely traumatic. But they didn't die. They didn't get deleted. All abstracted characters are still alive. If what I said is true, then Caine abstracted and recovered. And if the crew remains stuck in the circus as many fans believe now, then they'll have to confront the fact that his friends and family are still there in the cellar. And given enough time, who knows? I am a hopeful person by nature, so these thoughts may stem from my desire to give the cast a hopeful ending. It could be that they never escape and remain stuck for the rest of their existence, but maybe they could keep the hope of being together. And I mean all of them. And knowing that they can also manipulate the circus, they could also build their own world. But hey, that's just a theory. Made you complete the phrase in your head, didn't I? In all honesty, I can't believe that such a fantastic and heart-filled story came out from this. While it's a shame what happened to the movie, and how things have become very difficult to Gooseworks, at the end of the day, what she built was incredible. I can't wait to see the ending. I can't wait to be completely wrong, and I can't wait to see what she got for us in one final act. I'm excited, and so should you. Are you ready? We're going to one final adventure.